Okay, there you go. Okay, so remember that last class we were practicing a lot these different cases that we have in English for the pronunciation of the regular verbs in past. Remember that we were talking about case number 1, case number 2, and case number 3. And remember that there are like different characteristics of each case. For example, in case number 1, remember that is when we have verbs ending in voiceless or unvoiced sounds. And remember that a voiceless or an unvoiced sound is a sound that does not have any vibration in your throat, right? So for example, here we have this example, the verb work. The last sound of this verb is a voiceless sound. So the pronunciation of the past is going to be as a t sound at the end, replacing the ed, right? So remember that it is a big, huge mistake to say work it. That's not possible. We have to say worked, worked. Okay, the same thing happens to the verb miss. So it ends in a voiceless sound, which is s. So the pronunciation of the past is going to be missed, missed. Okay, very good. So this is only a review, like a very quick review, because I know that you have been studying a lot. So this is now a piece of cake for you. But anyways, extra practice is never like endless, right? So it says here, verbs ending in voice. This is case number 2. Verbs ending in a voiced sound. And what is a voiced sound? It is a sound that has vibration in your vocal cords, right? So when you pronounce the last sound of this verb, the verb leave, you're going to find out that the last sound is a voice sound because there is a lot of vibration when you say right? So when we have a verb like this that ends in a sound with vibration, so it means a voiced sound, we're going to pronounce the past of that verb as a d sound. So we say lived, lived, arrived, arrived, saved, saved. Okay, so never forget about this, my dear friends. Remember that next week is going to be exams week. So you're going to have an interview with me. And of course, I will be asking you to pronounce or to make some sounds. Okay, so be careful, study hard for that part. And then we have case number 3, the last case. Remember that this is the exception, right? This is the exception. So it says, when you have verbs ending in t or d sound, remember that this is how we make the past in case 1 and case 2. When we have verbs ending in these two sounds, we're going to pronounce the past as it, like this, it, okay? So I say here, for example, invited, invited, arrested, arrested. Okay, so it's like an it or it sound here, but we're not going to say invited. No, we say invited, right? Invited, arrested. Okay, so whenever you have a verb ending in t or d, you're going to pronounce the past as it. This is like the exception, okay? I know that this is easy again for you, but this is just extra practice, which is never enough, okay? So here we had an exercise. Remember that we had a video, a very interesting video about Rachel, who is a professor from the United States, and she's got a lot of videos on YouTube, free videos, a lot of tutorials, a lot of tips regarding pronunciation. So I strongly recommend you to follow her on YouTube, to watch her videos, because they are very, very interesting and you can learn a lot from her, okay? So I hope, guys, espero, chicos, de verdad que hayan visitado ese link, o que si no lo han hecho, que lo visiten. Así como escuchamos una canción 20 veces, 50 veces, 100 veces y no nos cansamos, pues asimismo tratemos de ver este video unas 20 veces para que tengamos y seamos muy conscientes sobre la pronunciación de cada uno de esos verbos según los casos. Miren que cuando uno lo está explicando es muy fácil, chicos, aparentemente, pero ya cuando uno lo tiene que hacer y producir, ahí se le confunde a uno todo, se le olvida a uno todo, y entonces la práctica es lo único que ayuda a solventar eso, ¿de acuerdo? Entonces, this is my advice for everybody. Visit this YouTube link and try to follow this professor, Rachel, because she is very, very kind and her explanations are great and clear, okay? Great and clear. So we're going to begin with with a short quiz, oral quiz in this moment. This is not going to be graded in this moment. No vamos a calificar en este momento, pero sí vamos a evaluar. Vamos a ver cómo estamos pronunciando todos. Y voy a pedirle el favor a algunos que me ayuden a pronunciar estos verbos de este cuadro. ¿Ok? So here we have verbs in case 1, in case 2, and in case 3. ¿Ok? Case 1, case 2, and case 3. Recuerden, chicos, que en este momento no les puede dar pena, ni miedo, ni temor, ni qué dirá, ni no sé. En este momento es válido todo eso. Donde no va a ser válido es la próxima semana en el examen. Entonces, al que le pregunte o si hay algún voluntario, por favor, nos colabore. So, first question for everybody. Is there any volunteer? Any volunteer? Someone? Me dicen quién va siendo voluntario y yo le digo, ¿qué verbo pronunciamos? So, any volunteer? ¿Me están escuchando? ¿Será que me quedé sin internet?
No, we are listening to you.
Okay. So, Andrea, you want to begin with one verb?
Okay.
Rompe el hielo, Andrea, para que los demás
Let's
se
do
animen.
it.
Listo. Okay, very good. That's the attitude. Perfect. So, Andrea, which is your favorite case, Andrea? Case 1, case 2, or case 3?
I don't know. I like the
3 of them? Okay, good. Very good. So, Andrea, we're going to begin with one verb from case number 2, okay? Case number 2. So
Okay.
let's pronounce the verb, this one. So Andrea, in present, we say follow, okay? Follow. So now the question is, how do you pronounce the verb to follow in past?
Followed.
Followed. Perfect,
Followed.
Andrea. Perfect, Andrea. That was very, very good. Okay, thank you very much, Andrea. So any other volunteer, another person?
Me?
Okay, Isabella, thank you. Isabella, do you have a favorite case? 1, 2, or 3, or not really?
Not really.
Okay, so let's go to case number 1, Isabella. Let's pronounce this verb, which in present is develop, to develop. So, Isabella, could you please pronounce the verb to develop in past?
Developed?
Developed. Perfect. Developed.
Developed.
Very good, Isabella. Remember that we need to exaggerate a little bit the last part, que sea como más exageradita y al final te queda perfecto, Isabella. But that was very good, okay? Thank you, Isabella. Thank you. Okay, any other person?
Me.
Daniela? Okay, Daniela,
Yeah.
let's go to case number 3, okay? Case number 2.
Oh,
so
I think you are going to ask me what is my favorite.
Okay, Daniela, so which is your favorite case? 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1. Okay, no problem. Andrea, let's pronounce this first verb. Daniela. Let's pronounce this first verb here. We have in present, it is to work. So, Daniela, could you please say it in the past?
Okay, is worked.
Worked. Perfect, Daniela.
Worked.
That was very good, Daniela. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, another person. Only girls in this class today.
I want to be the next.
Nidia?
Yes.
Okay, Nidia first and then Nicolas, okay? So Nidia, okay. Do you have a favorite group? Case 1, case 2, case 3?
3?
Case 3? Okay, Nidia, very good. So Nidia, this verb, for example, this first one, in present we say want. Want. Could you please pronounce the verb want in past, Nidia?
Wanted.
Wanted. Very good, Nidia. Perfect. That was very good. Okay, so wanted. Wanted. Okay, perfect, Nidia. Thank you very much. Okay, Nicolas.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nicolas, let's go to case number 2. Case number 2, if you don't mind.
Okay.
The verb that you're going to pronounce in the past is going to be this one, okay? So in present, we say call, call. Now, Nicolas,
Okay, cool.
how do you say it in the past?
We say in the past, cold, cold.
Very good, Nicolas. Perfect. That was very, very
Okay.
good. Okay, thank you very much. So we say called. Very good. Any other volunteer, guys?
I want to, teacher.
Felipe. Okay, Felipe, and then Diana. Creo que Diana también quiere, right?
And
Diana?
me, teacher.
Me.
And Laura, okay, okay. So Felipe, Diana, and Laura, okay. So Felipe, let's continue to with case number 2, which is the case in which we have more verbs, and the verb I would like you to pronounce would be this one, train, okay. In the present, in infinitive form, we say to train, to train. Now, Felipe, how would you pronounce the verb to train in past?
Trained.
Trained. Perfect, Felipe. That was excellent. Very good. Okay. Thank you very much. So in past, we say trained. Good. Very good. Okay. Let me continue to Natalia, right? O Diana. No me acuerdo quién seguía. Diana. Diana. Okay. Diana. Go. Diana, let's move to case number 3. And the verb you're going to help me with is this one, which in present is need. Need. How do you say it in the past?
Needed.
Needed. Very good, Diana. Perfect. That was very, very good. Okay. So needed, case number 3, because the last sound is d. So the past is it. Needed. Very good, Diana. Okay, then we continue to Laura, I think, right? No me acuerdo si seguía Laura.
Yes, teacher, yes.
Okay, Laura, thank you. Laura, let's move to case number 1. We're going to pronounce the verb to stop in the past. How would you say it?
Stopped, stopped.
Stopped. Perfect. Very good. Laura, I have an extra question for you. Tengo una pregunta adicional, Laura, a ver si te acuerdas.
Yes.
Why do we have a double P here?
Se le agrega la otra P cuando la palabra es como, me acuerdo que no se le agrega, cuando solo es como de una sílaba no se le agrega.
Okay. Cuando es de una
Pero-
sílaba sí se le agrega. Cuando es de
Eso
una
sí se
sílaba,
le agrega,
ajá.
sí. Cuando es muy corta la palabra, no, ¿cierto?
No, sí le
Se
tienes.
confundía.
Ajá, estás un poquito confundida, pero tienes la idea, Laura. Mira, una sola sílaba son las corticas, ¿sí? Como stop. Entonces, esas que son muy corticas, que tienen una sola sílaba y que terminan en consonante, vocal consonante, es a las que se le agrega la última consonante, ¿de acuerdo? Las que son más
Ok.
larguitas, como develop, mira que también terminan en consonante, vocal consonante, pero al ser de más de una sílaba, a esas es a las que no se les agrega, ¿ok?
Thanks, teacher.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any other person? 2 more people? 2 more? Any other person? Any other?
Me, teacher.
Allison? Okay, Allison, thank you. Let's move to case number 2, I'm sorry. And you're going to help me with this verb, Allison, which in present is pronounced as live. So how would you pronounce it in the past?
Lived. Lived.
Lived. Very good, Allison. There you go. Perfect. Lived, right? Lived. Very, very good, Allison. Thank you very much. And one more person, the last person. Anybody?
I want.
Okay, Hersey, good. We're going to continue here, case number 2, and you're going to help me pronouncing the verb to listen in past. Okay, listen. Now, how would you pronounce it in the past?
Listened.
Listen.
Listened.
Very good. Perfect, Harrison. There you go. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. So thank you for your active participation. I see that you have been studying a lot. I hope that the ones that are not volunteers, you're still practicing at home by yourselves, because this is very important, okay? Very important. So guys, there was another thing, and it was homework to continue or to finish with this reading from Matsu Basho, who is a poet, a Japanese poet, right? And the activity here was to complete his biography with an accurate or appropriate verb in the past, right? Recuerden que acá había que poner los verbos en estos espacios en blanco. Verbos en pasado, no importaba si eran regulares o irregulares, pero el ejercicio era tener un texto muy coherente, ¿ok? Muy coherente. So, I don't know if there is any volunteer to read this. Vamos a ver si hay un voluntario que me ayude a leer el primer parrafito. Miramos qué verbos usó y los demás me dicen qué otras opciones de verbos podrían ir ahí, ¿de acuerdo? Porque pueden aplicar varios. Y después escuchamos el audio original del texto original a ver cuál es el verbo que realmente usan ahí. So, any volunteer for paragraph number 1? No? Okay, I will go fishing. Me voy de pesca, chicos. Okay, Juliet Londoño. Hello, Juliet. How are you?
Hi, teacher. Good.
Okay, Juliet, would you be kind and help me reading paragraph number 1?
Matsubashi, more than 1,000 haiku tree lines poems. He topics from
Okay,
nature.
Juliet, I'm sorry. Remember that you need to tell me the verbs that you included in each space, right? Los verbos que usaste también acá en estas 4 líneas, en estos 4 espacios.
Okay, Matsubashi wrote more than 1,000 haiku tree line poems. He chose topics from nature, daily life, and human emotions. He became one of Japan's most famous poets, and his work was haiku as an important art form.
Okay, Juliet. So the first verb, Juliet, was wrote, right? Wrote.
Yes,
The second one was chose, right?
yes,
The third one was, I forgot it.
became,
Became. Okay, and the last one was, right? Verb to be.
yes.
Okay, good. So guys, the other people, do you have different verbs in this? For example, for the first one, wrote. Anybody with a different option? Or you have the same thing? In the first, fill in the blank, wrote, the verb wrote, everybody?
I have the same one.
You have the same? Okay, good, good, good.
too.
You too? Okay, perfect. So everybody agrees on wrote. Good, very good. So Matsubasha wrote more than 1,000 haiku 3-line poems. So haiku is a 3-line poem, right? Like this one from the example here. And then he, the option from Juliet was chose. Does anybody have a different option? He chose topics from nature, daily life, and human emotions. Which one?
Use.
Used. Okay, so he chose, he used. Any other option? Anybody? You have the same? Either chose or
Wrote
used?
again.
Became? No?
No, growth again.
Oh, okay. Very, very good. Perfect. So let me go back here. Give me just 1 second. Esperen, chicos, que es que esto me está. Okay, good. Can you listen to me? ¿Me escuchan bien, chicos? Es que este audífono está como raro.
Yes, teacher, don't worry.
Okay, okay, thank
I
you.
got someone different
Which one?
and someone another different. Build.
Okay, he built Topics from nature,
No.
yes.
Dealt.
Okay, okay.
DEALT.
Okay, good. So he dealt topics from, right, here.
Yes.
So we have three different options so far. Good. Let's continue. Let's move on. Ahorita vamos a confirmar cuál finalmente era allí, aunque todos los que me han dicho funcionan. So, and human emotions, he, and then there is one space here, one of Japan's most famous poets. The option here from Juliet was became. So anybody has a different option? He became one of Japan's.
Became or was?
He was,
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
He was, okay, he
was.
became, he was, okay, very good. We're going to confirm in a second. And then it says, he became or he was one of Japan's most famous poets, and his work was haiku as an important art form. Do you agree with was here, or you have a different option?
I have the same one.
Was, verb to be in the past, yes?
Yes, me too.
You too. And his work was haiku as an important art form. It sounds pretty weird, guys, with was. Okay, we're going to confirm in a second. Let's continue. Todos tienen acá was, los 29 chicos, es que solamente siento que hay como 4 personas en clase hoy. Entonces no sé los demás, ¿qué pasa? Okay, good. Let's continue here. So Basho, then, okay, no, I need another volunteer. Anybody to read the second paragraph?
I want to.
Okay.
Felipe, okay, Felipe, and then Nidia. Felipe, you're going to read until this period here, father, okay? Father. And then Nidia is going to continue after instead. So,
But do I have to put the verbs?
yes, please. Felipe.
Okay. The first verb that says basho, verb matsu, I didn't put it because we couldn't understand really what it meant. So
Okay. So you
I don't
have,
Yes, it's kind of weird, that part.
okay. So anybody wrote something there? ¿Alguien escribió algo allí, chicos?
Born. In.
Okay, Basho was born in Matsuo, Munafesa near Kayara, right? Basho was born, right? That's a good option, was born. Any other option there? ¿Alguien más escribió algo diferente o lo dejó en blanco? Was born. Okay, we have that option here. Felipe, would you please read? Continue. Basho was
Okay.
born.
I'm gonna, okay. Basho was born Matsu Munefusa near Kyoto in 1644. Basho is the name he later used as a poet. He wanted to become a samurai warrior like his father. Instead, we didn't put any verb there too because we didn't know which one we could use. So
But you have to stop there.
instead
he have to stop there because it continue Nidia.
Okay, no, don't worry, Andrea. Let's have Felipe finishing this, and then Nidia can help us with the next paragraph, okay? So Felipe, so in this verb, instead, you still have like a blank space, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let's ask for help. Anybody wrote something here, guys? Anybody?
To become.
Instead, he
Went.
went to, okay,
Or maybe
moved, okay, good. So we have different possibilities, right? Let's go with move, Felipe, and continue.
Okay, instead he moved to Edo, present-day Tokyo, and wrote poetry. Then he became a teacher, and by 1681, he had many students and admirers.
Okay, very good, Felipe. That was very good. So here we had different possibilities. I hope that you're taking notes instead in case you have a different possibility. So try to write the other verb as well. Tengan allí las posibilidades. Y ahorita con el audio original del texto vamos a verificar, ¿ok? A verificar qué es. Okay, so let's move to the last paragraph. I don't know if Nidia wants to help or someone different. Nidia, ¿quieres hacer este o alguien más?
Profe,
Señora.
yo en sí le quería hacer una pregunta, no quería leer las cosas.
Bueno, dale. ¿Cuál es la pregunta?
Yo sigo sin entender bien el primer renglón del segundo párrafo.
El primer renglón del segundo párrafo. Este de acá, ¿cierto? 1644. Basho is the name. Sí, esa parte, Nidia.
O sea, desde el primer renglón hasta el punto.
Hasta este punto de 1644.
Sí, señor.
Listo. Sí, es que acá tal vez hay una pequeña confusión. Miran que varios compañeros tampoco pusieron nada ahí porque queda como un poquito confuso, pero el verbo que tal vez va acá, aunque ya lo vamos a confirmar, Nidia, es que él nació. He was born. Basho was born. Muchas veces, chicos, ese verbo was born, nació, no necesita la preposición in. Algunas veces sí, algunas veces no. Puede ser entonces, Basho was born in Matsu Munefusa. Esta es una ciudad, Nidia. Todo esto, Matsuo Munefusa, es una ciudad japonesa que queda cerca de Kioto, que es otra ciudad japonesa. Entonces, tal vez acá se confundieron porque esto parece una persona, no sé, pero es una ciudad. Y el
Sí, pero es el
verbo,
nombre de alguien.
sí, pero claro, sí, Matsuo Munefusa parece nombre y apellido, ¿cierto? Pero en realidad es una ciudad cerca a Kioto, que son ciudades japonesas. Entonces acá puede ir el verbo was born in o simplemente was born. El verbo born por sí solito no se usa, chicos. Casi siempre requiere en contextos formales el uso del verbo to be. Él fue nacido. Si hiciéramos una traducción literal, él fue nacido, lo cual no tiene sentido en español. Simplemente decimos él nació, ¿cierto? Pero en inglés sí hay que ponerle ese verbo to be al verbo born. He was born in Matsuo Munefusa, or he was born Matsuo Munefusa near Kyoto in 1644, ¿ok? Entonces esa es como la explicación de esa línea.
Listo, profe, gracias.
Ok, Nidia, thank you. So, any other volunteer, alguien que quiera leer este último párrafo? Okay, some point fishing. Let me pick a boy. Jefferson Quintero. Hello, Jefferson. How are you? Jefferson, can you listen to me? Okay, se quedó dormido Jefferson. Okay, no tiene micrófono. Okay, Jefferson, thank you. Let me go to another person, Juan Camilo. Juan Camilo Osorio. Hello, Juan Camilo.
Hello.
How are you, Juan Camilo?
Fine.
Okay, Juan Camilo, could you please help us reading this paragraph? Colocando los verbos que tú usaste, ¿sí? En cada espacio.
Mhm. Give me a minute, please.
Okay, don't worry.
Basho, however, was restless. Starting in 1684, he walked on foot and on horseback all over Japan. Sometimes his friends helped him and they wrote poetry together. Travel was difficult in the 17th century and Basho often got sick. He died in 1694 during a journey to Osaka. At the time, he had 2,000 students.
Okay, very good, Juan Camilo. That was very, very good. And I like the verbs that you used, and I agree with those verbs that you had. So Juan Camilo said, Basho, however, was restless. What is to be restless, guys? Anybody? What is to be restless?
Como
¿Y descanso?
inquieto.
Incansable, ¿cierto? Incansable. Una persona que trabaja muchísimo, no se cansa, right? Restless. Starting in 1684, Juan Camilo said walked. He walked on foot. He walked on foot. What do you think? Do you have a different option here?
I have traveled.
I have traveled to.
Traveled.
Okay, traveled. Okay. ¿Por qué suena raro walked, guys?
Because it doesn't make sense if he was on foot and horseback to say walked.
Okay, so he walked on foot, right? So he traveled on foot probably, but we're going to check it out in a second. And on horseback, right? Horseback all over Japan. What is horseback?
Como al lomo del caballo o algo así.
Okay, yes, very good. So horseback all over Japan. Sometimes his friends, I forgot the word here. Sometimes his friends
He said help.
helped. Okay, his friends helped him and they wrote poetry together. Do you have a different option for these two verbs?
Met.
Met, sometimes his friends met him and they wrote poetry together. Okay, it works as well. Very good. Travel was difficult in the 17th century and Basho often got sick. Do you have a different option?
No.
No.
The same thing. Okay, very good. He died in 1694 during a journey to Osaka. At that time, he had 2,000 students. Okay, very good. So guys, having said this, we're going to listen to the original text. Okay, so you're going to follow the listening and you're going to check if you have the same verbs or if you have like a different verb.
Unit 3, Grammar in Context, page 22.
Matsuo Basho, 1644 to 1694.
As for that flower by the road, my horse ate it.
Matsuo Basho wrote more than 1,000 haiku, 3-line poems. He chose topics from nature, daily life, and human emotions. He became one of Japan's most famous poets, and his work established haiku as an important art form.
Basho was born Matsuo Munefusa near Kyoto in 1644. Basho is the name he later used as a poet. He did not want to become a samurai, warrior, like his father. Instead, he moved to Edo, present-day Tokyo, and studied poetry. Then he became a teacher, and by 1681 he had many students and admirers. Basho, however, was restless. Starting in 1684, he traveled on foot and on horseback all over Japan. Sometimes his friends joined him and they wrote poetry together. Travel was difficult in the 17th century, and Basho often got sick. He died in 1694 during a journey to Osaka. At that time, he had 2,000 students.
Okay, guys. So as you can see, most of the verbs you chose are the same from the original version, but there are some big differences. For example, in this verb here, because most of you were saying like was, and his work was, and I said it sounds pretty weird, but then the verb that goes here is established, right? Established. So in his work established haiku as an important art form. And then here, remember, was born. Basho was born. Matsuo Munefusa, right, was born. And then here, he did not want, or he didn't want. He didn't want to become, right? He didn't want to become a samurai warrior like his father. And then here, sometimes his friends, en esta parte de acá, en el último párrafo, tercera línea, sometimes his friends joined him, right? Joined or met him. That was like a synonym. That is like a synonym, okay? So thank you, guys. That was a very good exercise. Okay, guys, so we have this exercise. I don't know if you remember this exercise from homework like 2 weeks ago. And for many of you, it was a difficult homework, right? For many of you, it was difficult, but let's try to do it again. Vamos a escuchar un par de veces este audio, vamos a confirmar lo que ustedes hicieron en su momento, o si no lo lograron hacer, miren si lo logran hacer y entre todos miramos cuáles son las respuestas correctas, okay? Remember that this is the timeline of a poet, another poet. And the difficult part here, la parte difícil acá, chicos, es que no todos los años están en el mismo orden que se muestra el timeline, sino que a veces hay que hacer alguna operación simple matemática de restar 10 años o sumarle 1 o 2 años, okay? So look, here we have like different important events in his life. Was born, aquí vamos a escribir en qué año. His parents left Turkey, he's from Turkey. He, the poet, moved to the United States. In what year? He began to write poetry. He graduated from college. He won a poetry award. And he became a teacher. Okay, he became a teacher. So let's listen again 2-3 times if necessary. Try to concentrate, everybody, and we're trying to do it together.
Unit 3, Exercise 8, page 31. Listening.
Good morning. You're listening to Literary Notes. With us in the studio today is prize-winning poet Murat Veli. Welcome.
Thank you, Jana. It's a pleasure to be here.
Murat, in your poetry, you often write about your memories of Turkey. Were you born there?
Yes, I was. But I came to the United States in 1980 when I was 10. My parents came here in 1975, 5 years before me. They found jobs and bought a house. Then I joined them.
Who did you live with between 1975 and 1980?
With my grandparents. Our family farm is in Sivas in central Turkey. I miss my parents, of course, but my life with my grandparents was wonderful. My grandmother told stories, and she knew hundreds of riddles. Very entertaining for a little boy.
So then in 1980, you left Turkey and joined your parents in the U.S.
That's right. We lived in Baltimore. You know, Jana, I hated the city at first. I had no freedom. I rode a school bus instead of my grandfather's horses. I had no friends, so I read. I escaped into books.
When did you start to write poetry?
Well, first, I wrote stories in Turkish all the time, from when I was only 6 or 7. But I wrote my first poem when I was 12. I wrote poetry in English.
Did you study poetry in school?
No, I didn't. In college, I majored in farming, agriculture. But I wrote every day.
You won an award for your poetry at a very young age. When was that?
That was in 1992, a year after I graduated from college.
And what do you do when you aren't writing poetry?
I teach it. I became a teacher in 1994, and I've been teaching since then, when I'm not farming, that is.
We have to pause for a break. When we return, Murat Veli will read one of his poems.
Okay, guys, let's listen again.
Unit 3, Exercise 8, page 31. Listening.
Good morning. You're listening to Literary Notes. With us in the studio today is prize-winning poet Murat Veli. Welcome.
Thank you, Jana. It's a pleasure to be here.
Murat, in your poetry, you often write about your memories of Turkey. Were you born there?
Yes, I was. But I came to the United States in 1980 when I was 10. My parents came here in 1975, 5 years before me. They found jobs and bought a house. Then I joined them.
Oh, who did you live with between 1975 and 1980?
With my grandparents. Our family farm is in Sivas in central Turkey. I miss my parents, of course, but my life with my grandparents was wonderful. My grandmother told stories, and she knew hundreds of riddles. Very entertaining for a little boy.
So then in 1980, you left Turkey and joined your parents in the U.S.
That's right. We lived in Baltimore. You know, Jana, I hated the city at first. I had no freedom. I rode a school bus instead of my grandfather's horses. I had no friends, so I read. I escaped into books.
When did you start to write poetry?
Well, first, I wrote stories in Turkish all the time, from when I was only 6 or 7. But I wrote my first poem when I was 12. I wrote poetry in English.
Did you study poetry in school?
No, I didn't. In college, I majored in farming, agriculture. But I wrote every day.
You won an award for your poetry at a very young age. When was that?
That was in 1992, a year after I graduated from college.
And what do you do when you aren't writing poetry?
I teach it. I became a teacher in 1994, and I've been teaching since then. When I'm not farming, that is.
We have to pause for a break. When we return, Murat Veli will read one of his poems.
Okay, guys, so I think it's enough because remember that it was homework and I think you have listened to this 100 of times for the homework, but we're going to check here answers, okay? So first year is the year in which the poet was born. Anybody? He was born in what year?
1970.
1970. Do you agree, everybody?
Yes, I agree.
Yes, okay, good, very good. And then we have a second important event in his life, and it is when his parents left Turkey. Do you have any idea about the year?
1975.
1975, when this guy was 5 years old, right? Okay, and
Yes,
then he joined his parents in the US in what year?
1980.
1980. Okay, so 10 years, right? He was 10 years old when he moved to the United States. Very good. Then, guys, in what year did the poets begin to write poetry?
1982.
1982. Yes, everybody?
I have 1981.
1981. A ver, ¿quién se va por una? ¿Quién se va por la otra, chicos?
I put 1982 because he said that he started 2 years after he moved.
Okay, 2 years after he moved. Okay, very good. So he actually says when he was like 12, right? He says something like, I began to write poetry when I was 12 or something. So yes, anyways, it is 1982, right? 1982. This is the correct answer here. Good. Let's move to the fifth event. That is the year in which he graduated from college. Do you have any idea?
In 1991.
1991. Okay, he graduated from college in 1991. Very good. And then he won a poetry in what year?
1992.
Okay, 1992. Very good. Perfect. So he graduated in 1991. Then he won a poetry award in 1992. And finally, he became a teacher in what year?
1994.
1994. Okay, very good. So guys, look, this is the timeline of a poet. He was born in 1970. His parents left Turkey. They moved to the United States in 1975 when he was only 5 years old. Between 1975 and 1980, which is the year in which he moved to the United States, he lived with his grandparents. Question for everybody. Was he happy with his grandparents or not really?
He said he was happy.
He was very
He
happy,
said he
right?
wasn't happy when he moved to the US at first because he didn't know anyone.
Yes, very good, Felipe. Perfect. Then, once in the United States, he began to write poetry. At the beginning, he wrote stories, right? Stories in Turkish. But then his first poem was in 1982. Then he went to the university to study poetry. Yes, am I right?
No,
No.
agriculture, if I'm not wrong.
Agriculture, very good, right? He went to the university, or he went to college to write agriculture in 1991. Sorry, no, before, and then he graduated in 1991. Then 1 year after graduating, so it means in 1992, he won a poetry award. And finally, he became a teacher in 1994, right? Very, very good. So guys, this is an example of a timeline of a poet. Remember that we also have the example from Matsuo Basho. And remember that we also have the biography of Steve Jobs. So everything is in the past. When we talk about biographies and timelines, everything is in the past. So guys, this is what we are going to do. Here we have more verbs. Please study these verbs pretty hard because probably the examples that I'm going to use in the exam, in the interview, are going to be taken from these examples that you have here. Look, we have examples for case number 1. We have these verbs, all of them, right? We have examples from case number 2, like most common verbs from each case. Aquí incluye, chicos, 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 verbos en cada categoría, verbos que son muy comunes y que pertenecen a esos casos según la pronunciación. Entonces, porfa, estudien los chicos porque tal vez usemos estos verbos que tenemos aquí en nuestro examen, ¿ok? Entonces, aquí los tienen, chicos, busquen la pronunciación. Si tienen alguna duda, me escriben por WhatsApp y lo pronunciamos. Pero porfa, entonces, que les quede eso, chicos, que les quede eso y que tal vez los verbos que están acá son los que voy a usar en el examen. Tenemos lo mismo para el caso número 2, que son los voiced sounds. Y tenemos también 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Acá tenemos 25 verbos del caso número 3, que es la excepción, ¿cierto? Aquí tienen muchos, chicos, para que estudien cómo se pronuncia cada uno de esos verbos. Los voy a pronunciar muy rapidito, y cada uno allí va a tratar de repetir después de mí. No necesitan abrir su micrófono, simplemente repiten. Vamos a tomar algunos de ellos. Y si alguno tiene alguna duda, puede buscar también en Word Reference. Recuerden que allí les pronuncian en acento británico, en acento americano. Esas son las cositas que ustedes tienen que hacer, chicos, en su tiempo libre. Aprovechar mucho el tiempo para hacer esto, ¿ok? Vamos a pronunciar algunos de acá, simplemente. So, everybody, this one, asked. This, okay, this one, jumped.
Jumped. O sea que la P ahí como que no suena mucho.
Sí y no, jumped. Sí, porque sí termina ahí. Jumped. Okay, finished. Cooked. Okay, relaxed.
Relaxed.
Walked.
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 Talked. Miren que acá, chicos, en talk y walk, esa L es totalmente muda, ¿sí? Es un error decir talk o walk, sino que decimos walked, talked, ¿ok? Missed, missed. Crushed, crushed. Okay, case number 2, allowed, allowed. Described, described. Happened, happened. Moved, moved. Imagined, imagined. Killed, killed. Saved, saved. Enjoyed, enjoyed. Covered, covered. Remembered, remembered. Okay, and some examples from case number 3. Attended, attended. Divided, divided. Included, included. Graduated, graduated. Collected, collected. Contacted, contacted. Hated, hated. Hunted, hunted. Painted, painted. Wanted, wanted. Started, respected. Visited, provided. Okay, so guys, this is like the pronunciation of some verbs. La idea, chicos, es que ustedes estudien, sobre todo estos verbos que tenemos acá, 20, acá hay 25, o sea que van 45 y otros 25, 70 verbos que tienen allí para que estudien la pronunciación muy juiciosos. Por supuesto que hay muchos más, pero son como unos verbos muy comunes que usamos diariamente, okay? So guys, activity in this moment. This is going to be homework, but not homework. It is a class activity. What is the idea? What is the idea? Cada uno, chicos, voy a explicar esto en español, voy a dejar de compartir pantalla. Cada uno, chicos, va a hacer, no, mejor voy a compartir pantalla. Cada uno de ustedes, chicos, va a hacer un timeline de su vida, ¿ok? Mínimo, mínimo, vamos a incluir unos 15 sucesos, 10, 15 sucesos importantes de su vida, ¿sí? Lo pueden hacer muy sencillo, muy simple, el ejemplo del poeta, ¿sí? Porque pues esto ya es mucho más elaborado, requeriría mucho más tiempo y trabajo, pero la idea es hacer una actividad ya, que la terminemos a las 12, que ustedes cada uno me la envíe. Es una actividad oral, chicos. Entonces cada uno de ustedes va a hacer un timeline de ustedes, mínimo 10 eventos importantes de su vida, de aquí hacia atrás, o unos 15, unos 20, los que ustedes quieran, y ustedes me van a grabar cada uno una nota de voz y me la va a enviar al WhatsApp por interno, ¿sí? Por interno, a mi WhatsApp, haciéndome o describiéndome su timeline in English, of course, ¿ok? Entonces, un ejemplo, chicos, voy a hacer un ejemplo. Hi, teacher, my name is Jairo Andrés. I was born in 1993. I moved to Armenia in 1997. I began my primary school in 1996 or 1997, I don't know. Then in 2001, I traveled to the United States for the first time. It was amazing. Then in 2003, I came back to Armenia to live with my parents. In 2010, I graduated from high school, okay, from high school. Then in the same year, 2010, I entered the University of Quindío to study modern languages. Then in 2015, I graduated from college. And in the same year, I became a teacher at the same university. In 2018, I got married and I don't know, something else. That was just an example. Eso es lo que quiero, chicos, que ustedes hagan. Un timeline con 10, 15 sucesos muy importantes de su vida, que no sea como fragmentado, como 1970 was born. 1975, I was in Panama. 1980, I was in Japan. No, que sea más fluido, que sea como una conversación, ustedes contando 10 sucesos de su vida en pasado todo, chicos. Me mandan una nota de voz a las 12. Les voy a dar hasta la 1, pues, hasta la 1, para que todos me hayan mandado su nota de voz por interno a mi WhatsApp, ¿de acuerdo? Y eso lo vamos a evaluar, por supuesto. So, is that clear for everybody? Guys?
Yes, teacher.
¿Alguien
Yo tengo
tiene
una...
alguna pregunta? Sí.
O sea, en sí no hay que hacerlo de manera gráfica, ¿no?
No, no, señor, solamente de manera oral. Digamos que la parte gráfica es para que ustedes se basen, ¿cierto? Pero en realidad el ejercicio es una nota de voz. Básicamente es eso, ¿de acuerdo?
Gracias.
Chicos, necesito que me la envíen hoy, porfa. Les voy a dar hasta las 2 de la tarde. Pero eso no quiere decir que yo la vaya a revisar apenas usted me la envíe. Entonces simplemente usted cumpla con enviármela. Tal vez yo lo deje en visto o tal vez no lea su mensaje hasta el fin de semana que esté calificando eso. Pero usted cumpla con enviarla. Eso es básicamente lo que les pido. ¿De acuerdo?
Teacher, qué pena, es que no le puse mucho cuidado porque me estaba aplicando unas nebulizaciones.
Sí.
Entonces, ¿se lo mandamos al privado?
Sí, por
Al
interno.
grupo.
No, por interno, por favor.
Ya. Y es mínimo, ¿qué? 10.
10, mínimo 10 sucesos, entre 10 y 15, que sea fluido, que no sea tan fragmentado y todo en pasado, ¿ok?
Listo, muchísimas gracias.
Ok, Andrea, sean muy conscientes, chicos, de la pronunciación de esos verbos en pasado, ¿ok? Guys, that's it for today. Thank you very much. You have homework, so please everybody finish the homework. Me pueden enviar eso hasta las 2 de la tarde más o menos, les voy a dar un tiempito. Y nada, chicos, yo les envío un correo, el lunes nos vemos para